Part 2.
Part 2 of our 3-part series. What should you not talk about on your first date?
Yes.
For those of us who are dating later in life and are trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
what's the second thing we shouldn't talk about, honey?
What is the second thing we shouldn't talk about?
Do you want to get married? Do you want to get married? Now, this is very interesting to me because when I went out dating in my early 40s, and I write about the story in my book, the link's below if you want to snag it, I was on a mission to get married. Like I was like bulldogging my way through, bulldozing. What's a bulldog? I'm like, yeah. So I was adamant about this. I was on a mission, and just, I will say right now that I didn't start having a good time until I released that mindset, okay? However, if somebody asked me what I was looking for, which my late husband did say on our first date, what do you want? I did say love and marriage, because I figured if he wants to take off, let him take off right now. However, he brought it up, I didn't.
Yes,
so
you literally took the words out of my mouth. I was getting ready to say, he's the one that brought it up, not Donna, and there's a huge, huge, huge difference. Right. On the very first video, I asked you divas, how would you feel if he did that to you? Now, again, how would you feel if you're just going out for a nice dinner to get to know somebody, and all of a sudden he starts talking about getting married and all kinds of commitments, and you've got to be thinking to yourself, I really don't even know you.
Right, that is true.
I don't know your middle name.
And by the way, I've had that happen. That is a red flag. We'll get into
Big
that
time.
on another video. That's a red flag. If somebody starts asking for a commitment and you haven't even met, or you haven't finished your dinner, just, be kind and bid them adieu is what my typical advice would be. But only you know for sure what you're feeling. But yeah, you don't want to get it too serious too quickly. And the first date is way too serious too quick.
Way too quick. Again, you really do not know this person. Now, if you're picking up a good vibe and you're really having a good time, we stated in part 1, the only reason you go out on a first date is to have fun and to see if you want to go out on a second date.
Now, what's really interesting, and that's always true, what's really interesting, babe, is when I told you I was not interested in a serious relationship on our first date, and you thought that we had more in common than I thought. And he was right, because obviously I'm here, married now, we're together, 6 or 7 years now.
And I also want to say, I had no intention of meeting my forever life partner on our first date.
Yeah.
I was going out to have a nice dinner and a nice time with an extremely beautiful woman.
Thank you.
And it was on the second date, I will tell you right now, I was walking back towards her and I looked up and I thought, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this woman. But, divas, I was also smart enough to keep my mouth shut and not say that, because otherwise there's a good chance we wouldn't be sitting here now.
That is very true. So I have a formula, which some of you know about and others have taken the course with me, that will help you to understand before the fourth date. That's talking dates 1, 2, and 3 then, right?
Yes.
Whether or not you're on the same page.
And whether you're going to have a fourth date.
And whether or not. And by the way, the first date is not the time to talk about marriage. Now, somebody might say, what do you want? And if you do want marriage, you could say love and marriage. Now, I will bring up this point. I have one of my students said to me, I did go on a date with this gentleman. He asked me what I wanted, and I didn't tell him that I was looking for marriage. And I said, why not? And she said, because I didn't want to marry him.
Ooh.
And I said, he wasn't asking you to marry him. He was asking you what you wanted.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to stay true to yourself and be clear, because you just don't know how it's going to roll out. And by the way, when I went out with my late husband, he asked me on a first date, what are you looking for? I told him love and marriage. I didn't think it was going to be with him.
Yeah, yeah,
It took me 2 months before I realized I was in love with him.
Well, they had known each other. Basically, they were networking together in business.
Right.
They were both in construction in New York City,
Right.
and Donna had known Pietro for 3 months. They had again been networking together, and he asked her out.
Right.
She never had any intention of ever. It never crossed her mind to marry an older, off the boat, debonair Italian who was basically right in front of her.
Right. And by the way, that's my point. Dating is a conversational experience. You should be having dialogue while you're dating. This is not like, no, but we're not, and I know we have joked, even I have done it, where I've said dating is like interviewing. But the fact is, if you can get it to be conversational and then enjoy it, then that stuff rolls out simply, easily on the date 2 or 3. Like, I'm telling you, I promise you, but don't bring it up on date 1.
Yeah. Now, divas, by the way, if you've been enjoying what we're talking about, I would encourage you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that little bell icon, which will guarantee that you automatically get the next video as we bring it out. So, and it really does help the channel a lot.
Yeah, awesome. So this is video 2 of a 3-part series, and we're here to help you understand what you should not be saying on a first date. Why, divas? Because it doesn't have to be that hard.